Welcome to the Explainer. So if you live around here in North Texas, you already know that keeping a roof over your head, well, it's not just some metaphor, right? It's a literal daily battle against some of the absolute craziest weather elements in the whole country. Today, we're unpacking a total survival guide for your home. We've pulled some amazing facts straight from the local experts over at Grand Roofing Dallas, and we're going to show you exactly what it actually takes to protect your biggest asset right here in Addison, Texas. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself a serious question right now. Is your roof truly ready for North Texas weather? Honestly, if you're even hesitating for a second to think about it, the answer is probably no. And hey, that's exactly why we're doing this today. We're going to dive into the undeniable facts and those really specific environmental triggers that are, quite frankly, quietly wearing down the structural integrity of your house at this very moment. You see, we're facing a sort of triple threat that makes North Texas literally one of the toughest places on the planet for a residential roof to survive. We aren't just talking about a little rain here and there. We're dealing with massive spring hailstorms that'll just shred asphalt, summer heat that routinely blasts past 100 degrees, and this is a big one, that sneaky, overlooked secret weapon, shifting clay soils underneath your foundation. That clay literally pulls and stresses the framing of your entire house. It's wild. So here is the roadmap we're going to follow in today's explainer to figure all this out. Number 1, the Texas weather threat. 2, why Addison roofs fail. 3, the Texas roofing technical standards. 4, the 3-step solution. And finally, number 5, understanding roofing costs. All right, jumping right into section 1, the Texas weather threat and what it takes to actually survive Tornado Alley. Just think about this brutal, relentless cycle we go through every single year. Spring rolls around, and bam, sudden hailstorms are denting metal and cracking your shingles. Then summer hits, bringing that relentless baking heat that completely zaps the strength out of your roofing materials. By fall, you're dealing with these severe wind gusts that just effortlessly rip off the shingles that some are already weakened. And just when you think you're safe, winter drops freezing temperatures that can crack your roof's underlayment. It is a non-stop, year-round attack on your home. If even one of those seasons compromises your defenses, you are exposed to some serious water damage. Which perfectly brings us to section 2, why Addison roofs fail, the symptom checklist. Now, this number is just mind-blowing, 150 degrees. That is the insane temperature a poorly ventilated attic in North Texas can actually hit during a typical summer afternoon. Think about that for a second. That's hot enough to practically cook a pizza. Imagine your roof effectively baking from the intense Texas sun beating down on top while sitting on a 150-degree oven right below it. It is literally cooking your shingles from the inside out, which drastically shortens their lifespan. And all that crazy heat leads straight to something called thermal expansion. It's exactly what it sounds like. Because our temperatures wildly swing from baking hot days to those much cooler nights, the materials up on your roof are constantly expanding and contracting. And here's the kicker. The metal flashing expands at a totally different rate than the asphalt shingles. So this daily push and pull acts like a slow-motion crowbar. Over time, it wiggles your nails loose, snaps those brittle cooked shingles, and completely wrecks the vital sealants around your chimneys and vents. But hey, the sun isn't the only enemy out here. Let's talk about some hidden failure points that are pretty unique to Addison. Remember that shifting clay soil we just talked about? Well, when the moisture in the ground changes and your foundation settles, it physically shifts the framing of your entire house, opening up these tiny and visible gaps in your roof structure. Now, toss in the debris from all our beautiful local oak trees, which totally clogs up your roof valleys and traps standing water. Add in that dried-out metal chimney flashing from the heat, and you, my friend, have a perfect recipe for silent, catastrophic leaks. Okay, time to shift gears from the scary stuff. Let's get into section 3, Texas Roofing Technical Standards, the technical prescription. The absolute critical number you need to remember here is 110 miles per hour. That is the specific wind rating required by Texas building codes for homes in our area. To survive wind uplift forces of 110 miles per hour, your standard run-of-the-mill installation just is not going to cut it. No way. Your roof absolutely must have 4 to 6 nails per shingle, placed in highly specific zones, and the edges have to be securely sealed down with roofing cement. A lot of older installations out there just don't have this, which is exactly why they're always the first ones blowing off into the street during a severe fall storm. And we have to talk about the materials themselves, because they need a major upgrade too. Basic felt paper technically meets minimum codes, but in the Texas heat, honestly, it's a disaster. It essentially just melts and gives up. Upgrading to a modern synthetic underlayment is basically non-negotiable if you want lasting protection. It gives you vastly superior tear resistance and crucial UV protection. That means even if a shingle does happen to blow off, your home underneath stays completely watertight. It's a real game changer. When we pull all this technical stuff together, you can really see how each requirement gives you a massive, real-world benefit. Proper balanced intake and exhaust ventilation, that stops that 150-degree attic oven from ever heating up. Using 4 to 6 fasteners per shingle, that makes sure you pass that 110-mile-per-hour wind code so your roof stays put. And maybe the best part, using Class 4 impact-resistant shingles doesn't just mean your roof survives spring hail, it actually frequently qualifies Addison homeowners for some pretty sweet discounts on their home insurance premiums. So doing it strictly by the book literally pays you back. So how do we fix it? That brings us to Section 4, the 3-step solution, the action plan. Taking on a major home construction project can feel incredibly intimidating, right? But it really shouldn't be. It genuinely boils down to 3 beautifully simple steps. Step 1, you get a comprehensive inspection and a totally transparent written estimate. Step 2 is the actual repair execution. This is where the pros pull the permits and get the work done efficiently. And step 3 is the final walkthrough. You get to review the completed work and all the warranty details before you ever hand over that final payment. Super straightforward. But what really separates a total nightmare project from a perfectly seamless one is the service you get in between those steps. Think about it. When a storm blows through at midnight and takes a chunk of your roof with it, you need 24/7 emergency tarping to stop the water from completely destroying your living room. You also want a company that actually advocates for you directly with your insurance, meaning they know how to speak the adjuster's language and have the exact photos needed to get your claim approved fast. And the cleanup? It's gotta be spotless. A professional crew will protect your landscaping and roll magnetic sweepers all across your lawn so you aren't discovering rusty, strained nails with your car tires 6 months later. All right, let's talk numbers in Section 5. Understanding roofing costs, the bottom line. It is absolutely the most frequently asked question out there. How much does it actually cost to replace a standard 2,000 square foot roof in Addison? Let's get right to it. Well, the numbers give us a very direct answer. You're typically looking at somewhere between $8,000 and $20,000. Now, you might be wondering, why such a huge range? It heavily depends on a few key things. How steep is the pitch of your roof? What specific materials are you choosing? Are we talking basic asphalt, premium architectural shingles, or maybe even metal? And incredibly importantly, what happens when they tear the old roof off? If your contractor finds hidden rot in the wooden decking underneath, that's going to change the final number for sure. So where is all that money actually going? Labor and materials each make up about 45% of the total cost, with that final 10% covering things like permits and disposal fees. Now, a lot of people will try to hunt down the absolute cheapest bid they can find, but listen, when almost half the cost is labor, cutting corners means you are hiring unskilled crews. They are the ones who won't install those crucial underlayments or all those required fasteners properly. And in North Texas, cheap labor simply guarantees premature failure. You just can't risk it. Okay, the second most common question is all about the hassle, the disruption to your daily life. How long does this kind of major construction project actually take? Thankfully, a standard replacement is surprisingly fast. Usually, we're just talking 2 to 4 days, the whole shebang. However, it's super important to set realistic expectations here. That timeline is totally at the mercy of the weather. A sudden North Texas downpour or a string of days with extreme summer heat can definitely delay the crew's progress. And like we mentioned before, if they uncover structural rot that has to be rebuilt, you should expect to tack on at least another day to that timeline. Because we're dealing with high costs and fast timelines, severe storms unfortunately always seem to bring out these fly-by-night contractors, the storm chasers. Please, whatever you do, protect your investment by keeping an eye out for these massive red flags. Number 1, never ever trust a roofer who demands full payment up front. If they use high-pressure scare tactics right after a storm, just walk away. If they can't provide local Addison references or physical local business address, that is a huge warning sign. And finally, never accept a vague contract. Your contract has to detail the exact material specifications and exact timelines. I really want to leave you with this final, powerful thought drawn straight from the experts. Quality installation protects your investment regardless of market fluctuations. Sure, materials might get more expensive, and we know for a fact that the storms are going to keep pounding Tornado Alley year after year. But getting it done right the first time, strictly to the highest code standards, well, that's your ultimate shield. So I have to ask, if a massive spring storm rolled into town tonight, would your roof be your greatest liability or your strongest defense? It might just be time to schedule a professional inspection and find out for sure. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and stay safe out there.